All right. We are here. It is Saturday night, and we're ready to do some drafting. My name is Nick. Welcome in to Main Event Fantasy, where we like drafting fantasy football teams right here on Underdog Fantasy. And today we'll be getting into some more puppy twos. I might sneak in one. I think we're going to do 3 drafts tonight, and I might sneak in a Best Ball Mania draft. But tonight's topic, we're going to be talking a little bit about right now what I'm going to call my guys. So we'll jump into it here in just a second. Welcome. If anybody is joining us and has never joined the channel before, never seen a video, we draft on Underdog Fantasy. These are best ball drafts, which means no time commitment during the season. You draft your team, you set it, and the best team, best players play each week. So no real work, but you can draft hundreds of teams, and I've been doing it for years, and I want to continue to do it right here on Underdog Fantasy. So if you do enjoy the content, I just ask that you throw a like, subscribe, hit a notification bell. I do go live usually every night around between 10 and midnight. If you hit the notification bell, you can jump on here. You can join a draft with us. The link is in the description below. And, we can come in here. We can chat. Your comments, your thoughts, your opinions are always appreciated. I'm not perfect, but I can tell you that, I guess my name says I am perfect, but I can tell you that, I've got a lot of experience doing this, and I've won a lot of money, and love to share that with you. So thanks for joining if you're here. Appreciate it. So we jumped into a puppy two, $5 entry, first place, $100,000. And that's what we're shooting for. This, I think, is draft number 51. You can do 150 entries into this tournament, and I'm doing number 51. I don't plan on max drafting this. I did max, I think, or got close to the puppy one earlier in the season. And we'll see how many I get into. But we are getting into the thick of the season now. Training camps have started. And so we're going to get more news. More news means more shifting of the ADP. And more guys and things changing. We just talked about last week, Rashee Rice. We talked about, what's going on with Quinshon Judkins. A lot of things happening. Some contracts have gone out, like Garrett Wilson. Getting a little bit of the bag there. So we've got the 107 here to start. I like it. It's a good place to start. Draft going pretty normal right now, pretty standard. Gibbs goes at 5s. I'd love to get CeeDee Lamb share here. I doubt he falls, but yeah. I don't like McCaffrey at the 7. It's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I'm actually underweight Puka. I don't have a lot of them, so I'm going to grab Puka Nacua. And this is kind of a good time to talk about the topic I wanted to discuss today, which is, I'm over 350 drafts, I think, so far this year. And I'll probably be doubling that by the end of the season. And, I kind of want to take stock, if you will, of where am I at? Where am I at with my exposure rates? And specifically tonight, we're going to talk about wide receivers. Who are my guys as we go through this tonight? Why are they my guys? Why do I like them? What do I like about them? Why is that the profile of receiver that I like? And how we get there. Usually for me, Puka, I just told you I'm underweight on, and I have no good reason to be underweight on Puka. If you look at who's going here in the first round, Jamar Chase, I'm in on him. Justin Jefferson, I'm in. CeeDee Lamb, where if he falls there, I'm in. I don't pull him early, so I don't tend to get him because I usually take Saquon or Bijan ahead of CeeDee Lamb. So unless I'm at the 5 or 6, I typically don't get CD right now. Malik Neighbors is my favorite pick in the back of this draft, so I am a little bit high on him. I'm 11% drafted on his team, so I'm definitely in on him. I don't have a problem with Puka. I do think Adams is going to be a natural target hog, similar to how Cooper Cup used to be. And that offense can support two dominant wide receivers. I get it. But I don't know. There's something about it. Just call it an instinct. I don't have a good reason to not take Puka. I just haven't got a lot of him. Henry goes. Genty goes. Genty fallen. Genty was going at the 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 back in May, April and May. Even early June, and he started to slide, and I'm okay with that. Doesn't bother me none. Aaron here, what's he going to do? Takes top of the board, takes HN. I would have liked HN there. We'll take AJ Brown share here. So in this range, we get into the second round. There are guys that I really like, more of. So in the first round, let's talk about my guys. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, you can't call them your guys. Everybody wants them. They're fine picks where they are. I would say, if I start in the back half of the first round, Malik Neighbors is my guy. He is a ball hog. He wants the ball. If you watch any of those shows, the draft shows, I think it's on HBO, on Max. Last year when they drafted him, they showed the interviews and things like that. And, they asked him, do you get mad when you don't get the ball? He said, yeah, absolutely. I get mad. Like, he wants the ball. Winners want the ball. So they don't really have anybody of his caliber on that team. There's other guys that have been there for a few years now, and they've not really shown up. So they're going to feed him, and he's in year 2. He already showed a really great rookie season. I mean, he could continue to break out over the next few years. So I'm going to scoop up as much Malik Neighbors as I can in the back half of drafts. If he falls anywhere from 8 through 12, he's my first choice. Every time. Doesn't mean I'm right. It's just how I feel. As we move into the second round, I like Drake London. I kind of overlooked him earlier in the season. But when I really scanned the second round, if Nico, Amon-Ra, Brian Thomas, I'll get pieces of them when they fall in the second round. Nico doesn't fall as often as the other guys do, so I don't have as much of him right now. Oh, wait, we're coming back around. Garrett Wilson goes. Let's see where we're rolling. I think I know what I want to do here. There's 2 guys I like. Awesome. So we will take Trey McBride. He's at an ADP of 26. Getting him at 31 here feels pretty good. Pretty good indeed. Trey McBride doesn't fall often right now to the mid to late 3s. So this is pretty rare territory. So there's not going to be as many teams that have Puka with Trey McBride. And AJ Brown, this is a round where he'll go, but he tends to fall sometimes a little bit earlier. I mean, gets picked a little bit earlier. So this will be a little bit of a unique start. So I'm kind of excited about how this has panned out so far. So just kind of going back to our round 2 discussion here. London I like, Brown I like, no problem. I do not like T. Higgins in the second round. Let me explain why. I like T. Higgins, the player, but where he's going in drafts, in order for him to crush and be just be an absolute smash for where he's being drafted in the second round, that would mean Jamar Chase has a bad year, or T. Higgins just has such a great year. Maybe Jamar Chase gets injured. There's just a lot of variables, and T. Higgins could still be the guy you need in week 17, and it could still work out. But I would much rather be getting pieces of T. Higgins in round 3. And when he goes in round 3, which does happen on occasion, because he'll fall over here in the first 4 or 5 picks of round 3 on occasion, I'll get him. I have paired him up here with Jamar Chase on occasion. I'll get 3 players here, and And I'm okay with that. But he's not. He's definitely not my guy this year. I liked him where he went last year, and boy, was I right, because last year where he went, and you needed him, last year. He won people a lot of money last year because he was one of the guys you kind of needed in the playoffs. Weeks 15, 16, 17. All right, NFL. Let's see. Hampton goes. I've been trying to get more shares of Hampton, so I would have liked to get him there. I think we're going to end up with Kyron because he's already got 2 running backs. I don't know that he'll take a third already. I was right. So we'll get Kyron. It's another Ram. And I don't have a ton of Kyron. But you know what? You get a little bit of a Ram, piece here. The value is really good. 35 ADP for 42. Pick 42. I like it. Feels good. So swinging back around. Let's talk about round 2 again. Drake London, I'm in on, and any of these guys that fall where it goes, I'm fine. But my round 2, my guy right now is going to be Tyreek Hill. I actually was getting him in round 3 in the first half of the season, so I actually have a large amount of drafts with him that were in round 3. I mean, I'm talking about I got Tyreek Hill in the back half of round 3 in the beginning of the year. So, I still like him here. I will not take him this early unless I've for some reason gone running back, and then he comes here. But Tyreek Hill round 2, end of round 2, early round 3 feels good. Going over to round 3. This is not. I like the receivers here. I like to mix in some different receivers here, but there's one guy that I'm absolutely smashing in round 3, who I believe was a better prospect than another guy in round 1 that we love, Malik Neighbors, and that's Marvin Harrison. I will be well overweight Marvin Harrison this year. Could be breakout year. He looks like a Greek god from the off season. Put on a whole bunch of extra muscle. I'm sure you've seen the pictures, floating around the internet. He's gonna be an alpha. He profiled better than Malik Neighbors and the other guys last year. Neighbors crushed. Now he's a first round pick. So we're really getting. If you could flip this, what if last year Marvin was the guy and Neighbors didn't quite get it? You'd be taking Neighbors here if you knew what you knew about last year. So to me, Marvin Harrison here in round 3 is my favorite pick probably in the whole draft, probably in the entire draft. And I will take him every single time in round 3. Draft's coming around. Ridley goes. All right, I see a couple guys I like here. We're going to go wide receiver. We got to keep wide receiver up. And we're going to get our friend here, Jalen Waddle. So round 3, we talked about Marvin Harrison. And actually, I don't even know if y'all can see this over my shoulder. Marvin Harrison, wide receiver 1. It's written on the board. It's a reminder for me. It's a reminder for you. He's the guy. So jump on board. You can thank me at the end of the year when you're getting second place and I'm getting first place. We'll go out and we'll celebrate together. In round 4, let's see. There's some guys in round 4 that I like. Actually, I'm sorry. Let me go back to round 3 for a second. There's a couple guys here. Actually, there's really only one that I'm more excited about, and that would be Garrett Wilson. I get a good amount of him when I can. The other guy that I tend to like in round 3 is Devontae Adams. JSN I'll take pieces of. Evans I'll take pieces of. McLaurin very rarely, only if I think I'm stacking him with Daniels. But you can get Daniels and not have McLaurin, and you'd be fine. But Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams are my next 2 targets really there. All right, we're coming back around. Debo goes. Travion Henderson goes at 64. And James Conner goes. I would have liked James Conner. I don't have a problem with it. If y'all have listened to any of my videos whatsoever, you know that I'm out on Juwan Jennings unless he continues to fall. Where he goes. I'm going to take Chris Godwin. So far, we have no quarterbacks. We have Kyron Williams at running back. We have Puka Nacua, A.J. Brown, Jalen Waddle, Chris Godwin at wide receiver, and we have Trey McBride as our tight end, a premium tight end. So pretty nice start. Got some good value so far. Going back to what I was saying in the third round, I like Garrett Wilson, like Devontae Adams. The others I sprinkle in. But there's only one guy that I love in round 3, and that's Marvin Harrison. Round 4, I like to mix this one up. This is not – I don't have a my guy in round 4, but I can tell you who I tend to get. I think I'm overweight the most on excuse me, on Tet McMillan. It's a rookie. I like the unknown. He could get a ton of targets in Carolina. Their offense could be way better than we thought. Maybe this is Bryce Young showing up finally after showing flashes last year. He wanted Tet. He's going to give him targets. He wants him to get the ball. So, you assume he stays healthy. I'd say Tet is probably, if I had my guy in round 4, it would be Tet. Rookie show upside. He's going to be a wide receiver 1 in an offense that could get better. They're going to have to throw from behind a lot, so they're going to throw the football. I'm going to get a good amount of Tet. Otherwise, hold on one second. We're coming around here. Pacheco goes at 76, Laporta at 77. We didn't need a tight end anyway. When we go Trey McBride early on, you don't want another tight end for a while, unless you get some crazy value. Matthew Golden goes. I think I was going to go for Golden here. So I think we're going to do, as sometimes as hard of a click is, I'm going to do it, Stephon Diggs here as our 5th wide receiver. I started out the year before the news of him on a boat and all that, getting a little bit more of Diggs, figuring he's going to be similar to what I said about Tet McMillan, where he's the alpha, he's the guy, he demands targets. Think of him like a Malik Neighbors, a Devontae Adams. These guys want the football. And so I just assumed that Drake May is going to coat him with targets, and I still may be right on that because nobody else in New England has shown up for any kind of consistency or shown signs of being the guy. But I got a little bit nervous when, with all the news going around with him and his, questionable decision-making. But, Diggs, round 5, former alpha receiver going in, round 1, on the Bills. If Drake May is legit, Diggs is a pretty good click here as your 5th wideout, where he goes. So I don't feel bad grabbing him here. He's definitely going to he's got a good floor. Whoops. All right. Jam Flowman on the clock. What a name. Hawkinson goes. I see a guy I'd like to get. If not, there is a backup plan with potential here. All right. Aaron Jones goes. I was going to get Aaron Jones to be a next running back. So now I'm thinking we're going to be pivoting over a little bit here. I'm going to go ahead and just take Baker Mayfield to pair him up with Chris Godwin as our first quarterback. So now we've got Baker Mayfield at quarterback, Kyron Williams at running back, Puka Nacua, A.J. Brown, Jalen Waddle, Chris Godwin, Stephon Diggs, and Trey McBride as our tight end. Not a bad way to start. So kind of taking this back to that round 4 discussion, aside from Tet, DJ Moore, I don't know. I think he could get run out. I'll tell you more about why I feel that way when we get to round 5 discussion here in a minute. But Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, depending on what's going to happen with him. I was taking Rice in the 4th and the 3rd as pieces, but now I'm not 100% sure how I feel about him. But I've gotten a good amount of Worthy, and I like to sprinkle in Jameson Williams. But I mean, some of these guys you can argue it's a 4 or 5. Which round are they really going in? Round 4 or round 5? So, but Tet's my guy in round 4. But Worthy, Jameson are probably my other 2 targets here. And I get a little bit of DK, if Aaron Rodgers likes to throw to his guy, a big-bodied receiver, I mean, he could be a nice pick there. I'm not afraid of that. All right, we're coming around here in round 9. Kyler Murray goes at pick 98 to the team with Marvin Harrison. Love it. Love it. Love it. Dak Prescott goes at 99. A little bit of a run on quarterbacks here in the last 10 picks or so. It's interesting that Quinshon Judkins is still here. Never mind, he goes at 101. He's actually not the guy I wanted. I wanted Jaylen Warren, who gets taken right before us, so we kind of got sniped on him. We really do need another running back. I do like some that are coming up here. I'm going to take Tyrone Tracy as our second running back. Don't have a ton of them, but when we only have one running back so far, he's a guy that I think we need to sprinkle in here and get a piece of. So now we're 10 picks away. This is where it can get interesting. There's some options we're going to have. We can look at a guy like Drake May to pair up with Stephon Diggs. We've got some running backs. We're not going to get Scatterbo. I get a lot of Scatterbo, but Dobbs, Charbonnet, Najee. These are some guys that I like. Najee will be a little too far down for our value, but yeah. Travis Kelce goes at 106. He still hangs around there with Mark Andrews. I've gotten Kelce as low as the 133. He's been going in 10 and 11. I guess now he's coming up a little bit with the Rashee Rice news. I'm still going to take him a bunch there. When you look at the board and, if you feel good about your tight ends, the wide receivers are pretty much bled dry. If you don't need a quarterback that pairs, Travis Kelce, he is the player I am most overweight on right now. I think in some of these drafts, I'm like 30% Travis Kelce. It's probably more like 25 now. I've cooled down a little bit, but I was big on Kelce, and I still am. I'm going to get plenty of him, and I'm going to be thrilled about it. Dobbs goes, so he's not an option anymore. So we're kind of looking at Drake May, Zach Charbonnet options here. Let's see what Aaron here does. He makes me feel like I'm on auto pick, but he's not. All right, we'll take Drake May. He'll be our second quarterback. Pairs up with Stephon Diggs. So now we've paired up Diggs with May and Chris Godwin with Baker Mayfield. Drake May is a guy that I really don't have a lot of this year so far, and I think I'm going to have to play catch up and force it. Mostly because if I don't get Stephon Diggs, I don't want Drake May. I just don't know who he's going to throw to, and it's probably a really, really bad take. There are guys out here that are absolutely in love with Drake May. Where he goes, the value's fine. I like backstacking him with other guys at times. I don't know. I just don't get a lot of him where he's going there. I can't. I don't love his wide receivers. It's so volatile. But I guess that's the risk for reward that goes into best ball. If you want to win, you got to take chances. So I'm probably gonna have to push and get some Drake May. But he won't be a guy I'm overweight on. I know a guy like if you watch Legendary Upside, on YouTube, shout out to those guys over there and Pat Carrain. He's been a Drake May guy for a long time, and I say a long time, for the last couple of years, and he's still in on him, and maybe this will be the year he's right. I don't know that last year paid off for him so hot, but you're not going to be right on everybody. Nobody has a crystal ball. You just use data like I do, and you make educated guesses on players that you think are the right fit for your team. Justin Herbert goes as we get around the 10-11 turn here. We're sitting at 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 5 wide receivers, and 1 tight end so far through our draft. And we probably need to get a little bit into these running back options here. We got Tajay Spears. I like him. He's my second most drafted running back right now, I think. But we'll talk more about that maybe on the next video. Here we are again. I'm just going to take him again. I keep taking him. I don't feel bad about it at all. I think the player is good. The value is fine. It's not like something where I just get overly excited about getting, but at the same time, when I look what's going around there, if I don't need a tight end, right, not stack one of these quarterbacks, what are we talking about in round 11? There's just a massive tier break in wide receivers. So you don't really want anybody there, unless you're intentionally stacking Marvin Mims or, I guess Kyle Williams, if you like that guy with Drake May. But I'm still struggling to figure out why Kyle Williams. He might be a dead pick. Like, people don't understand. He might be a completely dead pick. Where he's going, I just don't get it. Just because he's a rookie, he might have slot receiver. He might be an every down guy. That's what they said about Polk last year. And that guy might not even know what the practice squad looks like this year. So you never know. I'm hoping we can keep the running back spree here going. I'd like to get some more. So if we can let people take these wide receivers out of our hair, don't even leave Kyle Williams, because if he's there, I'm going to have to consider him as an option to double stack with May. And I'm hoping someone just takes him off my hands so I can go ahead and grab a guy like a Ray Davis or Trey Benson or Rashad White or Garendo. Any of these guys are good little shots. Goddard goes. Jordan Love goes. All right, so I'm going to be the guy that leaves him there and see if he comes back around, just because I don't like him. I just don't. We'll get actually Rashad White, running back, paired up. He is if he's going to play this season, which he will get some snaps, he'll be a pass catcher. That's what he does. That's why he's been strong out of the backfield before, and Baker likes him, trusts him. So, you can pair up a running back with a quarterback, especially if it's the pass catching running back. So don't be afraid to do that. Do not be afraid. Don't be scared. Let's scroll down here. Jake Ferguson goes. So we'll try and get to we'll go through round 5 here, and then when we get into the next draft, I think we'll maybe get into the next set of my guys after that. But round 5, there are a bunch of guys here I'm getting a bunch of. Like round 5, I almost always draft a wide receiver. Like round 5 for me might as well just be the wide receiver round. Like I'm getting one every time, with the exception of a sprinkle in Walker, a sprinkle in Kamara, depending on what I got beforehand. If I went 4 straight wide receivers, then I might flex them in. But Devonta Smith, absolutely one of my favorite picks here. Maybe considered one of the greatest wide receivers in college football history, and you can't argue that. The stats show it, so you got to consider that. On a great offense, who I think will throw a little bit more this year, if I'm being honest. Pickens, I'll sprinkle in. I have very little Sutton. I'd like to get a little more Ridley, because when you start to look at this tier, he is a 1 on an offense that could be better. He was over 1,000 yards last year, so I'll get some Ridley here. Jalen Waddle is probably my most drafted receiver in round 5. I love him, love his profile. Breakout potential, can win you a week. I'm all over him. I get a little bit of Hunter. I definitely get some Zay Flowers. I'm heavy on Rome, because by the time I get to the back of this draft, and I need wide receivers, Olave I like. So round 5, I mean, it's just a really good round for receivers. All right, draft board's coming around. We're at 149, 2 picks away. Kyle Williams still sitting there. Still hanging around. Tillman goes. So Tillman, I guess, we'll take Kyle Williams here. I think the value is good enough now where it's worth it for me to double stack him with Drake May. So we'll do Kyle Williams and Diggs, double stack with Drake May. So far our team is at quarterback Baker Mayfield and Drake May. At running back, we have Kyron Williams, Tyrone Tracy, Tajay Spears, and Rashad White. At wide receiver, we have Puka Nacua, A.J. Brown, Jalen Waddle, Chris Godwin, Stephon Diggs, and Kyle Williams. Tight end, we have our premium tight end at Trey McBride. So pretty balanced team. We're only going to get most likely one tight end out of this, and I'd like it to be Cade Otton to pair up with Baker Mayfield. And I'll feel good there. We're probably going to stop at 7 wide receivers, but we'll see how the draft board goes. And I'm thinking, because I don't love Kyron, even though I like some of these guys, I'm thinking I'm going to end up with 6 running backs on this team. So we're probably going to end up with like a 2-6. Well, no, I guess it's got to be more than that. Because it's going to be more 2-6-7-2. No, it'll have to be 2-6-8-2. Got myself confused for a minute. 2-2 goes. What a name. I want to know what their parents were thinking when they're just sitting around going, hey, what do you want to name him? You like Mike? Nah, I don't like Mike. All right. How about Frank? No, not Frank. 2-2? Yeah, that sounds like a really good, just manly name that we should name our kid. 2-2. Feel good about it. Probably be a pro football player. All right. So we may end up doing some crazy stuff here. You know what? I think we're gonna get a third quarterback. Tua has fallen to 162. He'll pair up with Jalen Waddle, and we'll have a third quarterback. That means this build's gonna end up being a 3-6-7-2 build. 3 quarterbacks. It'll be 6 running backs, 7 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends. That's going to feel pretty good. It's going to feel good. I'm kind of curious what people think are they're my guys. If you're on here, if you watch this video when we're not live and you have an opinion, I'd love for you to just throw in the comments. What do you think? Am I off? Am I wrong on why am I not taking enough Puka? Am I wrong? Is my take on guys like Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison, you think it's too strong? Let me know. Round 5, I'm blended here. Smith is a no-brainer. I'm clicking him almost every time. Jalen Waddle every time. If these guys are gone and I'm sitting down here, any of these 3 I feel great about. I'm overweight on Rome already. Olave I get a little bit of. You got to watch out the concussions there, but Rome's a favorite pick of mine. I'd rather have Rome than DJ Moore. Rome is an ascending receiver. DJ Moore, I can see him getting traded mid-year. They got more weapons now, and he might not be happy not getting enough targets. What if he becomes the guy? I like the upside potential in Rome, and they're not that far away. All right, Mario Douglas goes 172. It's coming around back to us. This is where we're not going to get cute. It's kind of crazy. Kyle Pitts is sitting here at 155, and I don't really understand why. So we just took K. Dotton. That should finish it off at tight end. We'll have Trey McBride and K. Dotton. Cade paid pairs with Baker. So we've got Rashad White and Chris Godwin and K. Dotton all paired with Baker. We have Jalen Waddle stacked with Tua, and we have Stephon Diggs and Kyle Williams paired up with Drake May. New England is another one that I'm really struggling to get enough of because their Week 17 game is the New York Jets, and I like Garrett Wilson and I like Breece Hall and I like Justin Fields, but if I don't have them, I don't have a lot of that Week 17 combination. I'm gonna have to force that probably just to get some more of it at some point. But Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay plays the Dolphins. They play Miami in Week 17. So if that game goes nuclear, I have, both quarterbacks. I've got a couple of talented wide receivers on that team. I've got a tight end and a running back. I mean, that might be the game that wins us some money, right? So we've got the Week 17 matchup. We've talked about that before. If anybody wants some help on that and understanding why Week 17 matters, we'll talk about it more in the future. But there's articles written on it. I'm sure you can Google it. That's how I've learned about it, or listen to other folks, read books, listen to podcasts, watch some YouTube streams. People like myself, we're here to help. We'll make it make sense for you. Will Shipley goes at 82. By the way, Cal Pitts did go at 177 shortly after us. So he is not on the clock. All right, so we know we need a wide receiver and a running back. Let's see what's going on here. Starting to scroll down a little bit. I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt. I'm going to scroll on down here and take more Kareem Hunt. I've gotten a good amount of him. He's a safe floor guy, in my opinion. He's going to get some touches. They trust him. So even if he's a floor, meaning to say he's going to get you some points. If the other guys aren't, he's going to get you a little something every week, and he has the potential to be the starting running back. What if Pacheco comes back and it's too early, or gets injured again, or he just isn't the same guy? Kareem Hunt could still be the number one. And when you're drafting him around 16, 17, 18, it just seems ridiculous that the guy you needed to win the league, if he's their number one running back in a premium offense, is sitting here around 16. I mean, that's just a click that just, you don't want to be out on that. You just don't. You're going to kick yourself. So you got to get some pieces of that. All right, let's look at our wide receiver situation, because we're going to need one of those. And then we'll look at tight end as well. Running back as well. Some running backs we like here. Start clicking some names. I'm not ready for Lloyd yet. It really didn't want me to click that. Could double up on Miami again. All right, let's come back around. We need a wide receiver. We need a running back. See what we want to do here. I can't take another Ram. I'm going to reach down here and grab Kendre Miller to be our sixth running back. And then I kind of want to talk this out. Do we think that – I don't think that getting another double stack is probably the right idea when I've already got two of my six wide receivers are from New England. I'm cutting – I don't know. Maybe I'm putting too much in one bucket. So I'm probably going to avoid that. So I'm just going to not do that. And I'm okay with any of these guys, really. We'll see when it comes around. I think I know where I'm going to go. I'm just going to move it now. I feel like Lockett's just going to get touches. These are guys that I think that are, in this order probably, that I think are good choices in round 18. Lockett could be the number two option in his offense that could be better. And, where everybody else down here is 3s, 4s, The year Puka broke out and was a great pick and a smash pick. He was the number 2 in the Rams offense, and people were taking him around 18. I had a little bit of Puka because I believed he was a good click here. I should have stuck with my convictions, truthfully. Lockett goes. It's like he was listening to our every move. But yeah, down here, you're looking for guys that are just going to get touches. Guys that are either on really good offenses that are going to get touches. I can see myself getting Amari Cooper. Heck, even Alan Lazard is a 2 right now, right? Theoretically. The reason I like Troy Franklin here is he played with Bo Nix in college. They have a good relationship. They got drafted together. I can see them, starting to, bring something together. All right. So we're done. We're finished. Let's recap our team here. We're a 3-6-7-2 team. We got Baker Mayfield, Drake May, Tua at quarterback, Kyron Williams, Tyrone Tracy, Tajay Spears, Rashad White, Kareem Hunt, Kendre Miller at running back, Puka Nacua, A.J. Brown, Jalen Waddle, Chris Godwin, Stephon Diggs, Kyle Williams, Troy Franklin at wide receiver, and at tight end we got Trey McBride and Kate Otten. We did stack a double stack of New England with Diggs and Williams. We have Waddle paired up with Tua. And then we have K. Dotton, Chris Godwin, and Rashad White paired up with Baker Mayfield. And then New England and Miami, play each other week 17. So there's a nice little stack there. A bring back, so to speak. So feels like a pretty good team. I like it. Let's get our next draft loaded up. The Puppy 2 is filling pretty quick. So just real quick, for those of you that don't know, Underdog drafts are best ball drafts. No time commitment during the season. You just draft your team, and the best players play based on their points and how they perform. This is a $5 entry. 225,000 entrants will be in this for for $1 million in prizes. When you look at the round advancement, weeks 1 through 14, it's in pod style. Let me back up. So 12 teams will play weeks 1 through 14. 2 of them will advance. In week 15, 10 teams will go against each other. 1 will advance. Week 16, 10 teams will play against each other. 1 will advance. And then the final 375 teams will play in week 17. And this is why we say week 17 is all that matters, because the goal is to really get here. And when you look at the prize breakdown, 100,000 for first, 75 for second, 50,000 for third, 25 for fourth, and so on. Pretty much, when you get into, if you get to the finals, right, you're guaranteed $750 just by making it to the finals. And even if you don't get there, if you get back into, if you're somewhere back here in these, playoff weeks, you get yourself into the playoffs, you're at least going to get your money back, by far. And, it feels like it's a good value, and you have a shot at getting some good money. So I'm going to jump in here. As a reminder, if this is your first time, viewing any of my stuff, my content, or, jumping in here, this is Main Event Fantasy. We do Underdog draft specifically. I have done others. I've been drafting fantasy football teams for, probably over a decade now. Done all kinds of drafts, your regular home leagues, dynasty, best ball. There's a new thing coming around called guillotine, if you don't know what that is. But these are best ball drafts. I really like them because I enjoy drafting. I love football. And, I like the idea that I can win a whole bunch of money doing it and talking with you guys. And I can draft hundreds of teams. And the only way you can do that is with best ball. You can't do that in a redraft because you can't manage hundreds of teams. I'd rather do it this way and, getting some enjoyment out of it. But if you're enjoying it, like, subscribe. The like button means a lot. It really does. I don't do this for money. I do it because I enjoy it. If I can share something with you, that's going to help you draft better, help us all be better drafters, then, great. I feel like I've done my job. That's really why I'm doing this. I could do this on my own, not on YouTube. But I felt like somebody helped me when I was doing this and trying to become a better drafter. It made me a bunch of money. It made me have a lot of fun and fueled my passion. And if I can help you, I want to do the same thing. So come on in, draft with us. There's a link in the description below. We'll draft together, and we can talk about anything that's on your mind. If you want to know when I'm live, I go live normally 10 o'clock and after, trying to be every night. I know that won't be every night, but as close as I can be. And if I can be on after the kids are asleep, I'll be here. So just appreciate any support. All right. So we're in our next draft. We pulled the 111. Last week, I stated that most of this draft season so far, I've been, majority of the time, it felt like on the front half of the board, 1 through 4 was really strong, which I really enjoy. But ever since I said that, I feel like I'm getting strictly back half of the board. And I'm not just talking about the back half. I'm talking about 11 and 12. 11 and 12 and a little bit of 10. I don't even know what the middle of the board looks like very rarely. The 5 hole is doesn't exist to me. I don't see the 5th pick very often. So a little strange. Fairly normal here, just like last time. Gibbs went before CeeDee Lamb, which is interesting. Puka goes, so we're not going to be grabbing Puka at the 11. I Am Love takes Genty at 8. Maybe our My Guy will make it to us at 11. We'll see. See what happens here. Neighbors would be our pick. Y'all know he's our guy at the back half of round 1 every time if he makes it. He didn't. He just took the top of ADP, which is fine. So this is where I don't have a preference. I mix these up. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with the top of ADP here. I don't get that excited with a lot of these guys. I just like to be a little bit even on what's available to me here. Achan's a guy that I really like in this area of the draft. Thomas and London are guys that I've been really struggling with because, I want to get a little bit pieces of both. So we'll go Thomas here. But for some reason, when I start with a Nico Collins, Thomas start, or, if I'm in the back half of the draft and I don't have Malik Neighbors, I don't feel as good. I just don't. Call me crazy. It's fine. To each his own. So we are talking tonight about our wide receiver, my guys. And to recap so far, round 1, it's hard to say you have a my guy in round 1 because you really don't go wrong. But in the back half of drafts, I have a clear my guy. It's Malik Neighbors. Round 2, for the most part, early round 2, Drake London's, my guy. And, but some of these guys can fall. I'll sprinkle them in like I did Brian Thomas here. But as this comes around, you're going to see Tyreek Hill is definitely one of my guys. Could be an absolute smash pick. And then round 3, to summarize so far, Marvin Harrison is, and out of the entire draft, rounds 1 through 18, Marvin Harrison is my guy this year. If I had one guy to tell you is my guy this year, it's Marvin Harrison. I want more of him, and I'm going to keep getting more of him. Tyree goes to 23. I like guys that can win you a week and make you feel like if you go to week 17, just think about it. If you get to week 17 and Tyreek Hill's, playing and he's on your team and you need him to win you $100,000 in the puppy too, you feel like you got a chance, right? You feel like that guy is so explosive and can take it to the house at any time and can put up 250 yards and 3 touchdowns in any game. I want that guy on my team. I want a guy that's like that I have a chance to do that. We're playing this to win, not to play it safe. If you want to play it safe, great. But the chances of you winning $100,000 are I'm just going to say less likely, and that's just my opinion. You can call me crazy. You can say I'm wrong. That's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. Round 3, we're coming around. Worthy goes a little early there. Like I said, Marvin Harrison's my guy in round 3. I like Garrett Wilson too. I was sprinkling some Rice, but I don't know what's going to go happen with him until they find out how many games he's going to be suspended. I'm thinking 6 games. And if that's the case, he's going to have to drop where he is. I don't think people can't take him in round 3 of these drafts, and feel good about it. You're missing too many games at that point. Coming back around. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Josh Allen, JSN. We're just going to click on some names we feel pretty good about. We could even do a Washington Jaden Daniels thing here. Whoops. If we really wanted to. Brees. McLaurin goes. Man, they really didn't want us to get a receiver here. Is kind of how it feels. That's what it feels like to me. So we'll take Brees Hall. It was a sign that we were not meant to get him. Although, do I take Rice at 38? I don't even like this guy. Or do I take Daniels, who's, I can unstack Daniels just for fun. I don't know. Decisions. We're going to switch it. I just don't feel good right now taking Rashee Rice where he's going, not knowing what's going to happen. It just doesn't make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. All right, so we're over here. So coming again, we talked about the third round already. You know where I feel. Fourth round, we're going to get into some more fun receivers here. And fourth and fifth round, I seem to flood with receivers. So I think we're probably going to end up, depending on how things fall, we are 17 picks away. We're at least going to get one receiver. I'm going to coming back around to us in the back half of the fifth. Rice finally goes at 44. That's crazy. So this guy has Gibbs with McConkey, Garrett Wilson, and Rice. It's just interesting. Like, it could be good. Like, what if his suspension's 3 games versus 6 makes you feel a little bit better, about where you're taking him? I don't know. But how does the team feel about him? Do they want to punish him by taking his usage down because they're not happy with him because they embarrassed the team now? I don't know. Maybe he'll be out of shape. You just don't know. All I know is I don't feel good about it. A good amount of drafters in the front half of this draft. I've drafted with a couple of these guys before. Devonta Smith goes. See, we're getting to that fifth round where we're getting into some guys that I really like. Smith at 50, great. Pickens is fine. Waddle, Zay Flowers, Ridley, Rome. These are all guys that I'm feeling pretty good about. I'll probably be in on some. I will say this may be a team where I don't know how the board's going to fall. It probably won't work out, but where Debo goes on this team, I'm a little concerned with the reports that Debo is fat and out of shape. I am, because he's known to be like a body guy and quick, and they wanted to give him handoffs. And if he's fat and out of shape, which kind of scares me for Jaden Daniels. Like, is he going to do more running because he's got a fat, out of shape receiver? And then we've got a guy, Terry, who doesn't want to see the field or go to training camp because he's got a contract issue. Like, is Washington falling apart? They had one good year and then the train falls off the tracks here. Like, what am I missing with Washington? Should I feel differently about those receivers? I really like Jaden Daniels. I want to take more of him, but I need somebody to help me, give me a reason why. Sell me on, not on him, but his receivers. All right, our guy Waddle falls here. He's at 53 normally as ADP, and we're going to get him at 59, so that feels really nice. Really, really nice. This is what I'm talking about, where I get a bunch of Rome and Olave because look what's here. I might reach and just pair up Debo, but I don't normally like to reach. You can get Kamara here. I'm going to go against everything I've been telling you guys to do, and I'm probably going to end up reaching on Debo. I am. Well, welcome to my drafts. Thank you if you're paying attention, and don't do anything I did. Got it. What great advice I'm giving tonight. I just told you not to scroll down that far early on. And what did I do? I scrolled down just to force the stack. I don't feel good about this team. I know we're gonna be okay. We're getting some value, but I don't know. It's just not making me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. No, it's not. All right. So we kind of did 1 through 5 in the last, discussion of the last draft. So let's talk about my guys, round 6. We're going round by round, but I will kind of summarize at the end. Not every round, but I will kind of give you my top 5 guys, and then we'll go in and we'll look at my exposures to kind of talk about, is what I'm saying backing up my exposures? I guess I need to check myself a little bit here. So in round 6, Rome is my guy in round 6. He's my number 1 drafted guy. I explained that earlier. I do get Olave. I like Godwin, Judy, as we roll into the 7th round here. That's kind of where they tend to go. But my favorite pick in round 7, and I have a strong, strong conviction about this guy, is Ricky Pearsall. I think the offense, the coaching staff, they're creative. The weather is good. There's a lot of advantages of playing in San Francisco. Their schedule this year is one of the easiest schedules that is out there. And so, when you know that going into drafts, that matters. And we got a little bit of a run on running backs here. There goes Pearsall. Pairs up with Juwan Jennings, here, which means he's probably going to be targeting Brock Purdy to double stack his San Francisco fellas here. This guy's drafted really, really well. Really well. Badge drafter, but he's doing it right. All right. Are we going to get another share of Stephon Diggs here? Is that what's about to happen to us? It is. I said I didn't get a lot of him lately, and now here he is falling in our lap. So it's mighty nice of him. But with Ricky Pearsall, just going back to him for a second, he was coming on strong, showed flashes last year. Juwan Jennings, I still don't think is the real deal. He was nothing before last year. Oh, hold on. He took a 4th running back. It kind of screwed me up there. All right. I don't like where we're at right now. This doesn't feel nice. All right, we'll take Hawkinson here. I didn't want to go a 6 receiver already. Just that wouldn't have been right. But when we just have 1 running back so far through 8, means we're going to probably have to pile on some running backs. But so far for this draft, Jaden Daniels at quarterback, Breece Hall at running back, Nico Collins, Brian Thomas, Jalen Waddle, Deebo Samuel, who stacks with our quarterback Jaden Daniels, and Stephon Diggs at wide receiver. And now TJ Hawkinson, come on down. You are our tight end on our team. But going back to Ricky again, I'm sorry, I keep getting detoured here. The offense is good. The weather's good. The coaching staff is talented. They're creative. He's a year 2 receiver, could break out, getting healthy, on an offense that, should be good. I don't believe in Juwan Jennings. Ayuk could start I'm in on Ayuk where he goes. I think he's going to end up being their number 1. But I just think Ricky Pearsall could be the only guy who plays 17 games or 18 games rather, but the whole year. Who knows? but I think he's got the most potential for breakout, and I'm looking for upside, and he shows me a ton. So I'm going to keep getting Ricky Pearsall all day. It's all about where he goes in drafts, though, for me. So we're 7 picks away. We're still sitting at 1. Running back. Jaylen Warren goes. I really like Jaylen Warren. I really, really do. Feel good when I click in there. We might end up, guys. We might end up, going Tyrone Tracy again. Now, I did say last time when we end up with Diggs, and I said we don't get a lot of Jets with them because of the way things work out. But we do have a little bit of a bring back here because we do have the Jets, New England, with Breece Hall and Stephon Diggs. So it kind of speaking that into existence a little bit. Running backs are running away on us. I mean, they are just going. Don't really need the wide receivers. We're gonna reach down here and grab us Cam Scatterbo. I do have a good amount of him, but who knows? Primo here's already got 4 running backs. I mean, he didn't care about wide receiver at all. He took $5 and said, "I don't need it." When you're nine picks in, and he's trying to come back now on wide receiver. I think we'll go ahead and get Drake May again. I did complain that I wasn't getting enough. I could have got Charbonnet here, but I like some of the running back values in the draft. And when I have Jaden Daniels as a premium stack and a premium quarterback, you get Drake May, I'm definitely done now at quarterback. I will not get a third. And we did pair them both with a receiver. So, you feel good about that. This helps our bring back with the stack of Drake May and Stephon Diggs. And then in week 17, they play the Jets. So Breece Hall, this, again, this could be a really nice way to play this team out. So we'll see how it goes. So let's scroll on down a little bit. Let's get back to some of this discussion around these receivers. So besides Pearsall, I like Matthew Golden taking chances here. Really any of these guys I'm fine on. I'm not in love with any of them. In round 7, it's Ricky Pearsall. He's my guy. Round 8, I don't love anyone in round 8. I sprinkle in different ones. I'm finding myself clicking Brandon Ayuk more when he falls because the upside could be so high. But I'm not in love with anyone here. I really feel like though, round 8, round 9, I'm not loving the wide receivers here. I usually want to at least have through 7 rounds 5 wide receivers already. So for my structure, you're going to get at least 1 running back. You're going to get 5 wide receivers, out of your first 7 picks. And then you might sprinkle in a quarterback. You might get a tight end. You might get 2 running backs. It's just kind of how I'm typically, grabbing things here. Again, don't love anybody here. Again, round 9, if I'm taking a guy, I like to take a chance at this late. I'm going to take a chance on Higgins or, Trey Harris. Maybe I don't have a lot of him. Keon Coleman. I get Coleman, here whenever I get, Josh Allen. I try and stack with him. Round 10's interesting. See, I like a lot more of these round 10 receivers. I am in on Shaheed. I'm also in on Rashad Bateman. These are the 2 guys in round 10 that I'm going after every time. Shaheed, and Bateman. Shaheed is definitely one of my guys this year. I was in on him last year. He showed flashes. He got hurt, unfortunately. The year before that, he looked great. I like Shaheed. He's definitely a guy who can win you some weeks. He's going to get a lot of targets. If the quarterback play is decent, it could really be a good decision. All right, Najee goes. I get a lot of Najee, but I'll take another piece of him here. We do need some more running back help, so works out pretty good. See what Primo here does. All right, we're back on the board. Ray Davis goes. I think we're going to get us another running back. We'll get Trey Benson. Excuse me. Woo. All right. So far, we've got at quarterback Jaden Daniels, Drake May. At running back, we have Breece Hall, Cam Scatabo, Najee Harris, Trey Benson. At wide receiver, we have Nico Collins, Brian Thomas, Jalen Waddle, Deebo Samuel, and Stephon Diggs. We did pair Deebo with Jaden Daniels. We did pair Stephon Diggs with Drake May. And then at tight end, we have TJ Hawkinson. He looks like a Viking, and he plays for the team. My man. I like it. So going back to what we're saying in round 10, Rashid Shaheed's my guy there. And really Bateman a lot of times. I mean, I would say him. He's the same way. So those are the two guys I'm getting down there, and I like them a lot. If I have Patrick Mahomes, I tend to end up sprinkling in Hollywood Brown for the stack. But I really look at rounds. I mean, other than those guys, if I need a receiver, I'm going there. But 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, I'm just loading up here with some running back shots. I love the tight ends here. And, this is a great pocket for quarterbacks to stack your guys. I mean, it's not a good balance. It really, I mean, the wide receivers are gone. I mean, and that's why I keep saying, in the first 7 rounds, I really want 5 receivers because they drop off a cliff, in my opinion, after round 7. Once you get past, Ibuka, even that, once you get past Diggs, I think there's a line right here. I like Ibuka, Cup, these guys, these are all fine, but I do think there's a drop right here after Diggs. Where if you're trying to dig out of a hole, you're in trouble. I don't like Mims. I don't like Kyle Williams. If you need a wide receiver, Mims is fine. But my favorite guys here, and he is an absolute my guy. He is one of my favorite picks in the entire draft at any round, is Cedric Tillman. Number 2, Cleveland offense. They're gonna have to throw. He showed flashes. He's a big body receiver, 6'3". He was showing breakout potential. A lot of attitude. He's the kind of guy I like. He wants targets. He's going to get them. And what's his competition behind him? I mean, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to get the ball. And in round 12 and 13 and 14, I mean, it just makes sense, guys. It just makes sense. All right, I'm gonna assume that this guy's not taking more running backs already, but there are plenty of running backs here that I like. I'm gonna grab Romeo Doubs. Could be the number 1 in Green Bay. As our 6th wide receiver. I like the running backs here, but we've kind of caught up a little bit, and there's probably an even better decision to be made here, and that's Hunter Henry to double stack with Drake May. So now we've got Jaden Daniels, Drake May. We've still got Breece Hall, Cam Scatabo, Najee Harris, and Trey Benson at running back. We've got Nico Collins, Brian Thomas, Jalen Waddle, Deebo Samuel, Stephon Diggs, Romeo Doubs at wide receiver, TJ Hawkinson, Hunter Henry at tight end. So I like this team. We've got the stacks. We've got some bringbacks. We're pretty well balanced overall. And it's not a team I hate. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. But we're not making a lot of mistakes, and that's what's important. When you're playing this, you want to draft like you're right, but you also want to draft smart. You might think you're right when you get 5 tight ends. You can think that way, but you're not. You've just lost. But you want to maximize your chances by doing things like stacking your quarterback with 1 or 2, sometimes 3 pass catchers, and doing week 17 bringbacks. So if one game goes nuclear and they score 80 combined points and you've got multiple players from that team, you have a greater chance of winning a whole lot of money in that week, right? There's just ways to do this, and it's proven. It's not just me saying this. If you go look this up, guys, I'll try and put some videos up soon with talking about some of these stats and things, and why that this has shown out. We're in Best Ball Mania 6, so 6 years of doing this, and sometimes it changes a little bit in which draft strategies are the more dominant draft strategies in a year. A lot of that is dictated by injuries and strength of draft classes and things like that. But the same. There are some things that are just consistent, like your build. All right. Coming around here, Rico Dadiloff 172, Will Shipley 173. And I am going to do a third draft tonight. I'm feeling good. I know it's getting a little late, but I think I'm going to throw in a third draft to go with it. I'm going to go with the third tight end if he gets there, in Zach Ertz to double stack our guy, Jaden Daniels, and that'll really feel nice if we can get that. We're 1 pick away. But there's no guarantee, right? That's life. No guarantees. But he does come back around, so that feels really, really nice. We're done now at tight end. Now we're just really strictly 100% running back and wide receiver focused here. I'm going to go Miles Sanders. I don't get a lot of him. Could be a pass catching back that works out well in Dallas. He is, they've talked about him practicing with the ones. Dallas does have a bring back with Washington. So Miles Sanders, with Washington could work out. What if Javonte really is fried and Miles Sanders has I'm going to call it a Chuba Hubbard type year where they're like, I don't know, this guy's not really a guy. He's nothing special, but he might be what you need, So, and Dallas tends to be a good offense. They like to throw the ball. He can catch passes, he's not a bad pass catcher. So I don't feel bad grabbing him here. So we've got a couple more picks to make. We're definitely going to do one more wide receiver. And I'm kind of leaning towards getting 2, if I'm being honest. We've double stacked both our quarterbacks with their 1 pass catcher and 1 tight end, so that feels great. I think we're just going to grab wide receivers here, the last 2 picks to kind of close this out. If you're ever debating between wide receiver or running back, you generally, you only need to start 2 running backs. You have to start 3 wide receivers. You get a flex, you could start 3 running backs or 4 wide receivers. Wide receiver is a little more volatile, in some cases, where, if I took Breece Hall where I took him and I'm drafting like I'm right, and Breece Hall's the guy, I'll need to get these guys every week, one of these guys to go with him to get some points, right? Theoretically, that's how you kind of look at it. Down here, I need 4 then. In that case, in that rationale, I need 4 of these guys every week to go off. So, you want to take more stabs at those, which is generally how I like to play it. But I could be wrong. Maybe don't listen to me. I don't know. Just a quick reminder, if you are enjoying this, if this is helpful at all, if you really want to get in, more detail, just shoot me a like, subscribe, hit the notification to let yourself know when I'm getting on. Usually again 10 p.m. Central Time in the evenings between 10 and noon, or 10 and midnight. And come on here, draft with us. The link is below in the description, and we'd love to draft with you. I'd love to hear your opinions. Tell me if I'm right. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm crazy. I've done pretty good, but maybe you've got a better way to do it. Love to hear from you. All right, 3 picks away. We'll come back around. We're going to finish this draft off, and we will get into one more. We're just going to filter down here. Let's see. We'll get Dallas, another Dallas player for the bring back. We'll take Tolbert. And then, I don't know. Let's just take Amari Cooper. Not on a team yet. Might be soon. Might be the guy. I think he wants another crack at winning himself a title. So he's going to try and jump on a good team. So if he is on a good team, he's got a chance of getting some serious time. So closing this out, we have a 2-5-8-3 build. 2 quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. 5 running backs, Breece Hall, Cam Scatterbo, Najee Harris, Trey Benson, Miles Sanders. Nico Collins at wide receiver with Brian Thomas, Jalen Waddle, Deebo Samuel, Stephon Diggs, Romeo Doubs, Jalen Tolbert, and Amari Cooper. And then at tight end, we have TJ Hawkinson, Hunter Henry, Zach Ertz. We double stacked our guys in New England, Diggs and Hunter with Drake May. And then Zach Ertz and Deebo Samuel double stacked with Jaden Daniels. We do have New York Jets, Breece Hall for the bring back against against New England. And then we do have Miles Sanders and Jalen Tolbert that also play Washington in week 17. So got a couple bring backs. We got our double stacks. I mean, this is, while I don't love some of the players, we did reach a little bit on a couple of guys. This is how you build a team, folks. This at least gives you a chance to do something, with your team. So, all right, we're going to do one more puppy tonight. And then we will be done for the evening, but I'm having a good time. I love, there's something about drafting teams, talking football, getting ready for the year, trying to win some money. It's like, I don't know, just feels good. And we're back at the 111 again. So something tonight about drafting the 111. We've drafted some similar players in these teams. We'll see if it stays that way. Let's see. Any badges in here with us fully loaded? That same guy, Cujo, was in here before. He was drafted at 5. He's in here again at 3. So he's back. Someone tell him to jump on our channel and, let's talk about it. I think it just got colder in my house. I don't know what's going on. It's like, I think when the door closed or something. I'm going to have to turn that down. Turn it up, I guess. All right. This dude's name is Mom Pants. All right. Well, Mom Pants. Let's see what you do. He takes Saquon Barkley at the 1. If you believe in him, great. Nothing wrong with that. After we make these picks, I'm going to run to the restroom real quick, adjust the air. I'm going to come right back. And then I'm going to go ahead and start to show you. I'm going to pull up my current exposures to these wide receivers just so we can talk through them. And then we'll recap my guys that I have for this year. And then we'll see if we can't put together another quality winning fantasy football team. CeeDee Lamb back at 5. He got jumped by Gibbs in the last 2 drafts, but he's back now. Christian McCaffrey at 7. There goes our guy Neighbors. So we know we're not getting Neighbors at 11. I will force a different start here on purpose because I won't do the same guys again. Won't happen. So we'll just be a little bit different. We will get. I'll do Nico again at the top of ADP, but I will avoid Brian Thomas. I'm going to either do Achane. I guess Amon-Ra, Achane. That's kind of what I'm looking at. All right, Achane goes. So we'll do Amon-Ra. We'll do a Nico, Amon-Ra, St. Brown start. Not bad. We get a little bit of ADP value here. Nico normally goes around 10. Amon-Ra falls to the second round, so that feels kind of good. All right, give me 1 second. I'll be right back with you guys. All right, we're back. What did I miss? What kind of craziness has occurred? Really nothing. Well, Bucky went at 17. That's a little bit crazy. I mean, it's not really. If you believe in him, then great. He can go there. It's not an issue. My guy Marvin goes. Maserati Marv. That's what I'm calling him. Devontae Adams, bro. Devontae Adams at 30. I really don't want to replicate the same team again here on my own, so we'll see how this shakes out. So Rice went 44 last draft, and now he went 31 here. It's just interesting to me how that works out. A little bit of turmoil. Let's see what's coming around here to us. All right. It's funny because we could try and do this Terry. Nope, Terry's gone again. I almost did it twice, Terry and Jaden, but we're going to go one of these premium quarterbacks. We're going to get an Allen or a Lamar here. We're going to get Lamar. This is going to be fun. I'm happy about this. Breece Hall goes. George Kittle goes. So I'm going to get Hampton here as well. I don't have enough of him, and I do like him. I like him where he goes. Get him at value here. Hampton's a guy where, the Chargers, their offense is going to run the ball. That's what they want to do. They showed that last year, and their talent just got upgraded. They went out and got Najee Harris, who I get a ton of at his cost. And then you have Hampton, who, all the talk in the draft about Genty, and I love him too, but Hampton really looks like he might have even been a better talent. And he would have gone probably where Genty did if he was in this draft without him. So, um, yeah, I need to get more of him because where he goes in the fourth round just makes a lot of sense. I need to get more. Oops. So far we've got Lamar Jackson, Omarion Hampton, Nico Collins, and Amon-Ra St. Brown to kind of start us out. Pretty balanced start. It's kind of nice. Hurts goes. He does pair with A.J. Brown. In the first half of the year, where AJ went on the right side of the board and where Hurts has been going on the left side of the board, you never saw AJ paired with Jalen Hurts very often, and now all of a sudden, AJ slid down a little bit. Hurts has kind of come up because Hurts was getting going in the fifth round. Now he's coming up into the fourth, and it's making it a little bit tighter, closer together, where you're getting more AJ Brown with Jalen Hurts. Mom Pants over there gets his first wide receiver at pick 4. He's gonna have to do some. He's gonna have to get a shovel out and start digging if he wants to dig out of this one. And he goes Sutton after that. Pickens goes. So this Cujo guy, I liked his draft last time. We'll keep an eye on him again here. He drafts similar to me. So he's drafting. He's prioritizing the wide receivers. He's kind of got his anchor RB. He's got guys that I really like and put a lot of stock into. I named 3 of these guys are, guys that I tend to get a good amount of and feel really strongly about. So I like how Cujo's drafting here. My man. Save some money for the rest of us, brother. Maybe it's because he's listened to our stream. Maybe he goes back and watches our video and says, you know what? I see what he's doing. I'm going to do what he's doing. That guy's made money. That perfect guy. He drafts perfect. I'm going to do the same thing. All right. We want Zay Flowers to pair with Lamar Jackson. Let's hope we don't get sniped here. I don't want to speak it into existence. It's happened too many times. But it could happen again here. And thankfully it didn't. So we're going to grab Zay Flowers, stacked with Lamar Jackson, and I just feel way better about this draft now than the last one already, just because things are falling without me having to reach to it. And I'm getting some guys I don't really get. And here we are at 53. ADP is Jalen Waddle, and now we're going to get him at 62. Again, just falling down the board for no reason whatsoever. And you know how I feel about him. I made it pretty clear. He's one of my favorite picks in the drafts. We've got him at immense value. This draft is going fantastic for us. Really balanced start. We have an anchor running back of sorts. We've got a premium quarterback with his number 1 receiver. 4 good, number 1 receivers to come out of the gate with. I mean, I feel great. I hope you guys are feeling as good as I am when you watch this, because this draft is ours. We own this draft. You want a perfect draft? Right here. This is how you do it. Write it down. Scratch some notes out. This is how you win some money. These types of drafts. Henderson goes. I like Henderson, especially I should have an Ohio State guy. I don't have enough of him. I tend to get Swift over Henderson. I believe in their offense a little bit more. And I still think DeAndre Swift is undervalued. I think he should be a 5th round pick every time. I think he should be going, honestly, probably, just a round higher. I'd rather have him probably over Joe Mixon now that Nick Chubb's in Houston. I know that's a bold take, but I'd probably rather have him there. I might even want him over Chuba. I like Kamara, I like RJ Harvey. These are fine. So I think I'd rather have Swift over all of them, actually. Mom Pants coming back. I did say he had to dig out of his wide receivers here, and he is. He's done 3 in a row now, and he might even hit a 4th. If I were him, I would. Hit a 4th unless there's some value there, and he did. He actually went Green Bay, back Green Bay. Cujo's got 5 receivers so far, and he got another one of our guys, Ricky Pearsall, another my guy. I don't know who you are, but you're thinking like me, brother. You're on the same page as me. Well, you were until you drafted Tony Pollard, but I know why you did it. You needed a running back, but you know what? You chose Tony Pollard over David Montgomery. Can't support that decision. Can't do it. Not saying you're wrong. I'm just not there with you, brother. All right, it's coming back around. Let's see what comes to us here. It's like the fantasy football gods today want us to take Stephon Diggs. They're just screaming, please, he's going to be there. Just grab him. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. That's what they're saying. I got to be honest with you. It's not what I'm saying. It's not what it's not what I'm feeling. It's not what I'm thinking. Downs goes. All right. We're going to take Brian Robinson Jr. I see you, Stephon Diggs. I see you. But I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to go another route this time. I would have probably taken you at 86, if I'm being honest. But I didn't want to take a chance that I didn't get Brian Robinson Jr. here. Abuka goes. I like Hawkinson. I did say I like, Brandon Ayuk. I like Michael Pittman. So I'm actually going to go Pittman for a change here. Yeah, I just don't have a ton of them. I kind of value these guys similar from the wide receiver group, but Pittman's the alpha or the one. When you look at it, Ayuk is a 1, but he's going to hurt. The first part of the season. I don't care as much about the fact that Ayuk may possibly, and it's not even a guarantee, start on the PUP list and miss 4 weeks because you may not need him for the first 4 weeks, but you might need him for the playoffs, right? And that's really what matters. Week 17 is all that matters. You want him healthy for the playoff run and for week 17. You need him for more than that, usually, but you can live without him in the first 4 weeks and still, crush a best ball draft. Travis Kelce gets pulled up to 89 here. I don't like it. That's actually it's crazy. That's actually where he belongs. This is where I value him. The Laporta, Hawkinson range is where I think should be the entire time. But I won't take him here because I can get him in round 9 and 10. But that's the range he probably belongs in. And that might be another bold take, and that's okay. I'm perfectly okay with that. Cujo gets Murray paired up with Harrison here. He's drafting really nicely. This is my kind of draft. The only thing I would have done different than him so far was I would have taken David Montgomery before I took Tony Pollard. I bet you if Pacheco was there, he would have taken him instead. But that's the difference, an experienced drafter kind of understands that, understands values, understands, structure, understands the data that tells you what wins. If you've studied this enough, like I have, you understand how to put yourself in position to have the best chance at making some money, at winning, and putting our name on it. And being that guy. He takes Jaylen Warren, another guy that I love. I mean, he's like a clone of me right now. He's drafting just like me. Maybe galaxy brain thought here. Maybe he's secretly me. I don't know how that works. That doesn't make any sense at all. Don't listen to what I just said. All right, let's come back around. Mayfield goes. Purdy goes. A little bit of a run on quarterbacks. Coleman goes. I know what I want to do here. I think. All right, so I'm going to get Bateman to double stack my quarterback with Lamar. However, we're going to do it anyway. I I almost did Shaheed instead, but now we're at 7 wide receivers. We're definitely gonna we're gonna chill on the wide receivers here. I'm happy with what we have. So Lamar Jackson at quarterback, Omarion Hampton and Brian Robinson Jr. at running back, Nico Collins, Amon-Ra, Zay Flowers, Jalen Waddle, Michael Pittman, Rashad Bateman, and Rashid Shaheed at wide receiver. No tight ends. We double stacked Bateman and Flowers with Lamar Jackson, so that feels really nice. And now we're going to be looking at, some other quarterback options, later on in this draft, as well as, tight ends and running backs. We do want to keep, getting a couple of nice values in running backs. I like the team. I kind of wish that, like a guy like Warren could have been down here. Like in this case, I would have probably taken Jaylen Warren and Bateman and left Shaheed alone. But, Warren would have had to take a nice little fall to get there. As I said before, this is kind of that range 9 and 10, 9 through 12, where you're going to see the tight ends go, the quarterbacks go, they start to fly off the boards, because the values are just really good. This is where they belong in most cases. And then just kind of pick your poison. Jared Goff goes to our Cujo friend here, and that stacks with Jameson Williams, so he kind of paired him up. I mean, he's just got a really nice draft going. I feel really, he's really balanced. And, it's just a really nice draft. I think if I were to do this whole draft again so far, the only thing I would consider, like I always ask myself, what pick would I have done differently? I think if there was a pick I would have changed, it might have been Pittman and gotten either Jordan, Etienne, or Warren. I could have reached, but I really don't like to reach. It doesn't oftentimes make most sense. So we'll see how this rest of it plays out, but I still feel pretty good. I still really like our team. All right. We're going to grab Javonte Williams here as our third running back. And then I think we're going to grab our first tight end. And I don't normally like to. No, I don't know. I guess we'll just do this. I normally don't like to do this where I normally just get 2 stacks, but it doesn't hurt if you want to get 3 on the same team. It's not terrible, but it's normally not. I don't go into it with that strategy. I tend to keep an open mind in my drafts. So when you draft, you don't want to go in and say, I'm drafting the Ravens today. That's what I'm doing. That's what it's going to be. I love the Ravens today. I'm feeling Ravens. I'm going to get them all. You don't want to do that. You're going to lose out on value. You're going to lose on other things. I probably should have not taken him there. I'm contradicting myself right now with what I'm saying, but you want to let the draft come to you so that the values fall right. What if I'd have let him fall in some crazy way? He came back 155. Someone else could have had him there. I mean, later in the draft, it's a little bit less risky to go ahead and, scroll down a little further, but it just kind of depends on how things go. But yeah, I do not recommend getting too cute and too crazy. It's not ideal. Cujo got McCarthy, so he triple stacked his quarterbacks. I don't know that he needed to do that, but that's okay. Goes Ray Davis. That's a good pick. It's got a really good team built here. I like ours. I might like his just a little bit better. And hey, just as one more reminder, I'll do it again at the end after we recap our team. If you wouldn't mind, if you are watching this, maybe you're just hanging out, you just want to see, hey, who's drafting underdog teams? Who's drafting best ball teams? Who is talking about fantasy football? And who has some ideas, draft strategy, suggestions, hot takes on players? I'm one of those guys. So if you want to come in, you can draft with me. Click the link below, and we'd love to have you draft with us. Come in, chat, leave a comment down there. Tell me what your favorite picks are at wide receiver this year. Who are your my guys? Why are they your my guys? And if you disagree with mine, that's fine. I got my takes, you got yours. Sell me. Sell me on why you like somebody that I should be taking a look at. Maybe there's somebody out there that I'm missing, and that I should really be considering. All right, let's come back around here. I know what I want to do here. I want to try and get Tua to pair up with Jalen Waddle and be our second quarterback here would be ideal. And then I'd actually like to do one more running back and get Jalen Wright and do a running back stack with him because we need another running back as well. So that would be our preferred scenario here that plays out. We'll grab Tua. Not going to get cute here. Now, see, I could have not taken Tua because he's already got 2 quarterbacks. He's more likely to get a running back here, but Wright is a little further down the board, so it's less likely he's going to take him. And I was right. He took a couple of running backs there. So we'll take Jalen Wright. He pairs up with Miami and Tua. So we've now double stacked with a running back and a wide receiver for Tua with Jalen Wright and Jalen Waddle. And then I just realized they're both named Jalen. Kind of throws me off there. And then we've triple stacked, actually. We're going all in on Baltimore with Zay Flowers, Bateman, and Isaiah Likely as our tight end. So I really, really, really like how this team is playing out. This might be my favorite team of the night we've drafted so far. This might be the one. Just kind of watching Cujo over here because I like his team is really solid too. Really liking what he did. He's got some week 17 bringbacks. He's got, he's clearly going for that Minnesota, Detroit game. Worked out pretty good there with some bringbacks there. All right, Will Shipley goes. That's who he takes. And Pat Bryant goes. We're coming around to round 15 now. We got 4 more picks coming. We know we're going to definitely snag a couple of tight ends and probably a couple of running backs. McMillan goes. Yeah, I think we're done at quarterback. We'll stick around with Lamar and Tua. And then, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wide receivers. We know we're going to get 2 tight ends. We know we're going to get 1 running back. We're probably going to end up with 2 running backs and just sitting tight with what we have. And I think that'll probably feel the best for us. So we'll shoot for a 2, 6, 7, 3 build. But like I told you earlier, sometimes you got to sit and see what falls to you. So we'll see how the draft board plays out for us. Plenty of running backs that I like sitting out there. And there's a guy I absolutely don't want to take whatsoever, but he's going to end up on this team. It's going to happen. Whether I wanted it to or not, it's going to happen. It's one of those things where you just feel like it just makes sense. And my Wilson goes 1 pick away. He's probably going to go receiver here. He's only got 5 wide receivers. Yeah, I was right. We're going to go Braylon Allen. I like that. Could be a nice pick here. So this is where I like a lot of these tight ends. But I'm going to go on a limb and take Darren Waller just because he stacks with Tua, as a pass catcher. I really, really don't like the idea of taking Darren Waller, but here we are. Honestly, I could have pushed it and seen if he comes back around. Maybe there's other people that don't like him, but maybe I'm wrong, right? I've been wrong before on guys. There's guys I've missed in the past, and if I'm wrong, I'm okay with that. I'll be right somewhere else. Let's hope. So let's flip this over. Just to kind of recap, I did start this episode talking about my guys and at the wide receiver position. So when we go back through here, here are my guys for this year at wide receiver. I'm not including Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, or CeeDee Lamb because they're obvious picks. You get them when they're there. Malik Neighbors is my guy. Want a lot of them, want a ton of them. Tyreek Hill is my guy. Marvin Harrison is my absolute number 1 smash pick where he goes. He's my guy. And then as we keep kind of coming around here, keep going around. I mean, there's a ton of guys that I like coming around here. Ricky Pearsall in round 6, 7 is my guy on value. I'm getting a bunch of him. I talked about Bateman and Shaheed. I like both of them. And then my guy in the late rounds is Cedric Tillman. I'm going to load up on him whenever he falls in the right spot where I need, just that one more wide receiver. I'm heavy on Romeo Doubs down here too. When I get to these back half of these rounds, these late rounds, I want guys that are the highest on the depth chart possible, or they're rookies with an upside on a good offense. Or maybe if you're number 3 in a good offense and you're going to get some high playing time. But that's what I want. That's what I'm shooting for. I want ceiling. Come back around. We're going to get a tight end and a running back and close this one out, and then we'll be done. Before we go, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my current wide receiver. Breakdown of exposure rates. How much am I in on these different guys, and we'll see if I'm following what I say. Do I walk the talk, or do I just talk to myself? Might be a little bit of both. Chubb goes. I actually kind of wanted to get Chubb there, but I'm actually going to grab Lloyd. Green Bay does come back on Baltimore. Actually, I might even double tap Green Bay. Watch this. I'll do Lloyd, and then scroll on down here if he's still here. He's not. I don't see him. He must have went. Oh, no, I'm not. What am I doing? I almost screwed that up. Folks. That would have been all bad. We're going to take Dalton Schultz. He's going to catch some footballs on a good offense. That's what's going to happen. So, all right, we're all done. We got a 2-6-7-3 build here in this last one. 2 quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Tua Tagovailoa. Wow, I said that wrong. Tua. Running back, we've got Omarion Hampton, Robinson Jr., Javonte Williams, Jalen Wright, Braylon Allen, Marshawn Lloyd. And wide receiver, we have Nico Collins, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Zay Flowers, Jalen Waddle, Michael Pittman Jr., Rashad Bateman, Rashid Shaheed. At tight end, we have Isaiah Likely, Darren Waller, and Dalton Schultz. We have 3 Baltimore players, Flowers, Bateman, and Likely that pair up with Lamar. We have Darren Waller, Jalen Waddle, and Jalen Wright, who pair up with Tua. We do have a little bit of a bring back with Marshawn Lloyd, I guess is a weird way to bring back the Green Bay and Baltimore game. And then in Miami, Miami plays Tampa. We don't have any Tampa. So we're out. We're out on that. We don't have any bringbacks there, but that's okay. So feel good about the team. Let's go ahead real quick and go over to my completed drafts for the season. So we've got 323 drafts completed now for the season. And as we take a quick look at my exposure rates, and I filtered through this down, you can see Rome, Marv, Tillman, Pearsall, Waddle, Devonta Smith, McMillan. You can see everything that I said I go after. These are my guys. I've stated that. I'm not just saying it, I'm doing it. So I'm above average in all these guys. I'm proud to be above average on all these guys. And so, you gotta believe that what you're doing is right. It's one of those key things I talked about, that you're drafting the teams and you're picking the players that you believe in that are your guys. So thanks for joining this My Guy episode. I appreciate it. We will be on every single night if we can after 10 o'clock Central Time. Click the like button if you enjoyed any of this content at all. I really, really appreciate it. Just trying to build the channel up together. Come draft with us. In the link below is my link to Underdog. You can join us here, draft live, and then hit the notification if you want to know when I'm on. I'll give you the heads up, and come chat with us. Come hang out. Come have a good time, and let's win some money together playing best ball here on Underdog Fantasy. All right. Hopefully everybody has a good night. I'll talk to you guys soon.